Have you ever wondered where the most valuable lessons in life come from? Do we sometimes overlook the simple moments where the truth is most evident? Sometimes it is not the heavy pages of books, but the warm words of people who have gone through many ups and downs in life that we find the most profound lessons. On a crisp morning, the air was chilly, with a thin mist gently covering the road. A little bird perched on a branch, chirping softly, as if whispering, "Never ruin an apology with an excuse." In the faint morning sunlight, a squirrel on a nearby branch shivered from the cold but felt warmth inside, knowing that sincerity always holds its own value. When anger rises like the biting winter wind, tempting someone to speak harshly, the old fox, full of wisdom, reminded, "Anything begun in anger ends in regret." Perched on a branch, an old owl narrowed its eyes, as if recalling a mistake from its younger days. In the golden afternoon, under the shade of an ancient oak tree, the carpenter slowly spoke to his young apprentice. "Only buy what you truly need. If not, one day, you'll have to sell the things you need most." His gentle words echoed like a message of love through the forest, where dry leaves rustled beneath their feet, playing the music of autumn. In the warm kitchen, beside the crackling fire, the neighboring lady lovingly glanced at her husband and gently said, "If you invest in knowledge, no one can take it away from you. It's a wealth that will never diminish." The apprentice smiled softly, his eyes bright with understanding, as if he had discovered a priceless treasure. Outside the porch, dusk was falling. The blacksmith stroked an old cat curled up by his feet and whispered, "Love your enemies, for they will reveal flaws that your friends never would." The steady rhythm of the rain made the house feel even quieter. The neighbor recalled an old saying, "There are 3 loyal friends in life: a faithful spouse, a loyal animal, and enough money to get by." The next morning, as the mist still clung to the earth, the farmer gave advice to his son. "Not preparing is preparing to fail." That piece of advice shone like a guiding light, illuminating the path through life's challenges. Life becomes more meaningful and peaceful when we know how to live sincerely, control our emotions, cherish what is necessary, invest in knowledge, and prepare thoroughly for every challenge. These lessons not only help us succeed, but also nurture a mature and peaceful soul. Next is a series of simple yet profound advice from older characters, such as the old fisherman, the shopkeeper, the blacksmith, the doctor, and the old woman selling cakes for their children and those around them. Through sayings imbued with life experience, they convey many lessons about the value of money, being careful with small expenses, the harm of laziness, the importance of knowledge, how to keep secrets, and not wasting time. In addition, they also emphasize the importance of love, understanding in marriage, and happiness that comes from within. These pieces of advice are both practical and philosophical, helping children gain a deep understanding of life and appreciate true values. During a hot midday, as the sun climbed high in the sky, the old fisherman sat in the shade, gazing at the sea and said, "To know the value of money, try borrowing it and see Shabam who is willing to help." His words made the young girl sitting nearby think deeply, while the ocean breeze tousled her hair. In the late afternoon, when everyone gathered around the table, the shopkeeper lady gently reminded, "Don't overlook small expenses. A small leak can sink a big ship." When the sunset painted the sea red, the mailman smiled wistfully. "Laziness moves too slowly, and poverty quickly catches up." His words were both humorous and thoughtful, prompting everyone to reflect in silence. On a cold winter night, sitting by the warm hearth, the blacksmith gently ran his fingers through his wife's silver hair and said, "Investing in knowledge is always the wisest investment." The old cat on the floor purred quietly, as if agreeing with the advice. The next morning, the doctor looked at his old dog sleeping soundly at his feet and softly warned, "If you lie down with dogs, you'll wake up with fleas." His wife laughed, her eyes filled with affection, understanding that life also needs moments of lightheartedness. In the simple kitchen, the old baker shared advice with her granddaughter. "Keeping a secret isn't easy, because 3 people can only keep a secret if 2 of them are dead." The little girl's eyes widened in surprise, and then she nodded, grasping the lesson. Out in the wide fields, the farmer gazed thoughtfully as the wind blew through the rice stalks and said, "If you love life, don't waste time. Time is what life is made of." On a spring evening, as insects chirped in the night, the neighboring lady gave advice. Keep your eyes wide open before marriage and half closed afterward. Everyone laughed, appreciating the humor and wisdom in her words. In the rush of life, the doctor slowly said, "We don't grow old because of the years, but because we stop enjoying life." Then he turned to look at his wife, his eyes filled with the peace of a life spent together. The old baker patted her grandson's shoulder and said warmly, "Tyke, happiness comes from within, not from external circumstances." The boy smiled, feeling the warmth of her words spread through him. The story ends, but the words of wisdom continue to echo. The characters, from the old cat to the carpenter and the mailman, deliver valuable life lessons. They offer insights on sincerity, preparation, the value of knowledge, and the joy of living, like precious gems lighting the long road of life. In conclusion, we realize that life is a series of simple yet profound lessons passed down through generations. The teachings of the grandparents aren't just words of advice. They are a treasure of experiences handed down with care. From small reminders about living sincerely, avoiding regret, to cherishing gratitude and valuing time, these lessons may seem simple but hold timeless value. In the whirlwind of modern life, we sometimes forget that happiness and peace don't lie in flashy things, but in understanding, love, and quiet moments with loved ones. This story reminds us to listen and hold on to the words of those who came before us, as they are not only fragments of the past, but a compass for the future. Their lessons will continue to guide the next generations, like bright lights across the vast sea of life.